The idea of a country essentially creating a free trade area with itself sounds counterintuitive or sounds surprising. Are there further examples of what can be done to harmonize the different regions economically once the GST is fully established in place, or is this kind of the end of that?
This is the vast majority of it, rules-wise. I think another big step that will take longer that's not really a reform to help integrate India economically is simply infrastructure. Depending on where you are in the country, the connectivity to the rest of the country is quite bad. That's both for transporting either people or goods. So as those infrastructure linkages improve, and that kind of investment is a big part of the government's agenda, you should see more economic integration over time.
So it took Modi a while to get this GST tax passed. What did he have to give up to get that done? And will that hurt his standing or his supporters' standing in the local elections and the national elections?
So actually, I would argue the GST has been running on a different track because it's been less of a partisan issue and more of a federalism issue with the center and the states debating. And that's across all parties, no matter what party is ruling at the state level. But I think it's also important to address this issue that the GST is now done. It is not done yet. There are a number of steps that need to be taken yet to bring us to implementation. Implementation itself could take quite some time, and that's why economic analysts are talking about, you get these economic gains, but they're only after several years. The Parliament has now, both houses of Parliament have now approved the constitutional amendment. It needs to be approved by the President. GST Council with state finance ministers needs to be formed to set crucial issues like the rate and how it's administered. And then it goes back down to the states. The states have to ratify the constitutional amendment. The central government has to pass detailed implementation legislation, and each state government has to pass its own detailed implementation legislation. Then the IT network needed to administer the tax nationally needs to be rolled out. So you can see there's quite a number of steps that still need to be taken in order to make GST a reality on the ground.
But you said that land purchases and labor, sort of universal labor laws are something that you don't think Modi will accomplish. Why is that so difficult?
It's so difficult. On the land acquisition side, you saw the government do a concerted effort to get more liberal rules passed early last year and immediately ran into the problem of getting accused of being anti-farmer. And politically, that's a big problem in India, given that agriculture still accounts for roughly 50% of employment and as many as 70% of people still live in rural areas. And even some of the BJP's own allies and people within the party itself started to oppose the measure because it was simply so unpopular. So that got dropped unceremoniously near the end of last year. On the labor law reform side, one of the big barriers to companies scaling up in India has been restrictive labor laws that mean companies over a certain size need government permission to lay off workers, permission that doesn't come particularly frequently or in a timely manner. So one of the changes that have been proposed is to kind of raise that cap and otherwise ameliorate those restrictions, run into implacable oppositions from unions around the country across sectors. And those unions, less power than they used to have in India, but still very, very powerful in the ability to bring a lot of people out into the streets. It's very hard for the government to defend itself against accusations of being anti-worker when it tries to push those kinds of reforms.